What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Steelers Breakdown Monday edition here. We're in the post rookie minicamp session here, and we are going to talk about it. We talked about initial takeaways from the Friday session. Well, obviously, there were a few more sessions after that, so we'll be able to kind of talk about my first impressions of these rookies, and we'll go one by one, name some sleepers as well. The Steelers did sign Trey Sermon, Max Hurlman, and Gareth Warren. Those are your rookie minicamp tryout signings. They released Aaron Shamklin. And so Sermon, a veteran running back that gets a chance here. And they have 8 running backs now. Hurlman was a cornerback, wide receiver, and running back during his time in college. Was more of a special team punt returner type for Notre Dame last year. At Colgate before that, he was a little bit of a do-it-all guy on offense. He will be running back for the Steelers. They have 8 running backs on the roster, even after releasing Champlin. We'll see how that shifts out. I do not expect them to take 8 running backs into training camp. So something to watch as we go through OTAs and minicamp. OTAs, by the way, just I believe 2 weeks from tomorrow, so not too far away from OTAs. They also signed Garrett Warren, just a huge offensive tackle. Can play guard, can play tackle. He played left tackle and left guard last year for Lindenwood in Missouri. Um, you see the mass. He's got power. Someone to keep an eye on. Thomas Perry. I know a guy a lot of people were asking about just because he has buzz. Worked with Duke Manyweather. Doesn't appear the Steelers are going to sign him, at least as of now. We'll see. He's strong, obviously. Someone to watch. He can play center or guard. But the Steelers did not ink him so far. So we'll see. They would probably have to create a roster spot to get him on the 90 man. Not out of their own possibility, but we'll see what happens there. So let's talk about kind of the draft picks now and where I kind of saw them throughout this weekend session. Derek Harmon to me, very impressive young man. He's very much has that leadership core, I think. High character player. Just in terms of physical ones, he doesn't have a lot of bad mass on him. He's very fit, very lean for 310, 315 pounds. You wouldn't be able to tell that if you didn't know he was listed there. He's a big guy though. He's strong, moves well. I wouldn't say he's super explosive off the line of scrimmage, but he's quick. I think he's coordinated, and I think that more than makes up for it. And you look at guys, he doesn't have bad burst or anything, obviously. Go look at his 10-yard split, go look at his 40. There's a reason he's able to get off the line quick, but I think a lot of it is snap timing, quickness of his hands, different things like that. So I think there's a lot working there for Derek Harmon in terms of getting off the ball. And he's got strong hands. I thought that was the other thing. While we're on Derek Harmon, let's go to YA Black as well. Let's stay in the defensive line room. Black to me, again, just a mountain of a man. He's 6'5", 336. Just a big guy. Again, another guy that if you looked at him and you told me he was 336, I'm not sure you would be able to tell he was 336. He looks more like he's 280, but he's definitely all bit of 336. And when he hit the sled or the pads, it was just different. It just sounded different. You knew he had that jolt behind him. He's got a lot of power. The biggest thing for YA Black is going to be his pad level. He pops up a little too much on tape. Carl Dunbar was working with him this week on that, and YA Black basically admitted it as such. That's going to be kind of the big factor, I think, this summer for him. It depends on how well he can work his power along with the pad level. If he can fix that, I mean, he's got 35.5-inch arms. This guy has a great length and ability to use power moves, long arms, bull rushes, et cetera, et cetera. If he can do that, he can become a legitimate rotational piece this year. If not, I think he becomes more of like a red shirt type, to be quite honest with you. And maybe he keeps 7 this year on the defensive line. I don't think you can cut YA Black and have him not be claimed. So this to me feels like we'll see how long that comes along. We'll see. But he could be an instant run defense upgrade. Doesn't know yet if he's going to be playing out the end or the nose. Probably can play. He can play more 4-eye and out there in college. Probably projects more as nose in the NFL. But if he wants to be a legit run stopping nose in the NFL, pad level is going to be a big thing for him. Caleb Johnson, man, he just looks different than a lot of running backs. Built like an absolute brick house. That's the way I would say that. I mean, he's 6'1", every bit of 210, 215, maybe even more on that, might be 220. But he's got legit burst. He doesn't move anything like Najee Harris or Le'Veon Bell or James Conner. Completely different style of mover. He's just smooth. It's easy. The cuts are easy. The lateral agility is there. He's got build up burst. I think the instant burst isn't as great as you would like it to be, but I think the build up speed, the acceleration through the hole, it's all there. It's just not instantaneous. So that's why he's a lot, this patient runner. He takes his outside zone, mid zone tracks very seriously because he maximizes that and then he can hit the hole and get to that speed. That's a big part of it. So he's just effortless. He's an effortless mover. I also think he's a really smart player and a willing learner. That's something that I really looked at today, over Saturday. So specifically, I was watching them go through the pass pro gauntlet because I think this is the biggest obstacle to him not being the starter. Jalen Warren is a great receiver, a great pass catcher. Ditto for Kenneth Gainwell. And I just think that's going to hold not Kenneth Gainwell, Kaleb Johnson. Let's get that right. That's going to hold Kaleb Johnson back from being a three down immediate starter for the Steelers. Doesn't mean he won't get any of them, but he's got to prove himself in pass pro and as a receiver. Just wasn't asked to do it a ton at Iowa. He's willing. He's willing to put his nose in the fan. He's was asking questions, detailed questions. He's a very detail-oriented player. I love that. When you see it, he acknowledges weakness in pass pro. I think he's going to get a ton of early down work right off the bat. No question about it. He's an explosive runner. The running part of his game is polished and ready to go. It's how can you mold the rest of it and kind of make him a three down bell cow? That's going to be the question. But for right now, I think he's an early down workhorse back that can be an explosive threat. That's the type of player he is. Reminds me a lot of Arian Foster. I said that last week. That's kind of where I look at him. I'm a fan of Kaleb Johnson. Let's see how he comes along in pass pro. I'm really looking forward to backs on backers for that reason. Jack Sawyer, not much from the edge rushers. He's a really high character player. When you're not in pads, it's hard to kind of evaluate edge rushers. Again, I never thought that he had elite athleticism. I think in person I would agree with that, but I think he has effortless motor, just a hot motor that runs constantly. He was a try hard at practice in the good way. Would run everything out to the max, went 120%, even on just mundane drills. He took everything like it was his last drill, last play. I think that's really encapsulates what Jack Sawyer is. He is that type of leader. You can see why he's a locker room leader. Comes from the national championship team, of course. And you could see him already kind of building a camaraderie with some of the defensive players. So really like the leadership and the motor effort side of Jack Sawyer. Interested to see how the pass rush moves come along. Again, we didn't get to see a ton of them just because they don't do one-on-ones or anything like that here at rookie minicamp. No pads. It's hard to judge what you can do as an edge rusher there. Let's talk Will Howard. Again, the Steelers didn't do a ton, so they didn't throw much. But here's what I could tell you: they're working on his footwork. That's been the big thing, keeping him in rhythm, making sure he's on time, working the pocket movement, things like that. I think they would like to see him use his legs a little more. He runs he would probably run a 4.7. This guy can move a little bit. And sometimes he becomes a little robotic in the pocket. I think they're kind of trying to loosen that up just because the footwork was a big obstacle for him early last year in Ohio State, especially in that Michigan loss later in the year. Once he clicked it on in the playoff, you really saw him take a leap. And I thought that's where Will Howard kind of made his hay, was saying, hey, man, I'll fix this footwork part of this. I'm in rhythm now. I can make throws down the field. I can make throws all across the football field. And he's a decent processor. And so all of those kind of bring together where Will Howard's focus has to be, which is that footwork, which is getting a little more fluid in the pocket, being willing to use his legs to extend plays a little bit. We saw when he did do it, there were definitely flashes there. He could throw on the run when he does. Just wasn't a ton of it, and you felt like he could do it more. And so there's a little bit of looseness that's nice to come to his game, but I definitely think he's taking that, taking I don't have much to lose here mentality. I thought he commanded the huddle really well. I thought teammates respected. The calls really hard in rookie minicamp for any rookie quarterback, whether they are a first round pick, a sixth round pick, undrafted free agent, rookie minicamp tryout, to regurgitate a playbook back to any other guys. I mean, the playbook's not expansive, but it's big enough still. And it's hard to do that when you were only drafted 2 weeks ago. And so, really impressive from that standpoint. But we'll see what Will Howard can do later on. We'll see how this progresses, obviously. Just too early in the process to say anything definitive, but I wanted to put that out there on him. The seventh round picks, Carson Bruner. looks way more fluid than I think people give him credit for. I think he can drop back in coverage. I don't think there's stiffness moving laterally. I thought that was a real big thing on his tape, to be quite honest with you. I think he's got more coverage upside than people think. Not an elite athlete, but a good enough one. Mentality in terms of attacking downhill, tackling, it's all there. He'll be a really good special teamer. I think he makes the team. To be quite honest with you, Dante Kent. You see the athleticism. You can see why he can execute a speed turn and catch up to guys. He's fast. This guy could fly. He's an opportunistic ball hawk. The Steelers are going to work on his patience a little bit. They're going to play him in the slot or outside. They're going to see where he kind of works out. Probably more slot oriented to start. Played a lot more slot last year. This is a guy though that has ball skills. He's willing to tackle. He's a physical guy. Again, another captain, just a high character player. So we'll see how that comes along. Let's stay in the slot here. Sebastian Castro out of Iowa, an undrafted free agent. I want to highlight for you guys. I want to highlight four undrafted guys that I was able to talk to this week that I really want to kind of get the lowdown for you guys on. Sebastian Castro told me they were playing him in the safety and in the slot. So he's playing three positions: free safety, strong safety, and the slot. Um, doesn't have great speed. I think that's pretty evident even in person. It's evident on his tape. But he's really willing to tackle. He's a high character player, 6 year guy. He's going to be 25 in his rookie year. I think he turns 25 in October. So this is an experienced player. This is a guy that can plug and play. So we'll see. Best man win in the slot. Best man win in the depth competition there at safety. Could he force his way on the roster? I think so. Another guy that I think is not getting enough credit for making this roster, DJ Thomas Jones out of South Alabama. He's a kind of hybrid tight end fullback. He can play wing, he can play H-back, he can play inline tight end, he can play, your offset eye, whatever you want him to do, he can do all of it. He can play a ton of different positions, condense it into one man. But the difference is he's not your normal fullback. This guy's 6'2", 256, and he moves like he's 230. So he's really fluid in and out of his breaks. He can cut. He's not going to give you a ton of receiving upside, but you want to ask him to do it, he can. You look at his physical profile, and I looked this up. The physical profile that he most similarly matches to athletically is Kyle Juszczyk. Now that's a lot of expectation to put on a man, but this guy was first team all violence according to his teammates. That's what he was literally selected as. That was his nickname, first team all violence. We'll see how that takes care of itself, but I think there's a willingness to do that, and I think when you look at DJ Thomas Jones with the teams at more Michael Pruitt there to be the backup blocking tight end, plus fullback, not really having a true fullback. It's Connor Hayward right now, and he's more of a receiver type. There's a real path here for DJ Thomas Jones to make the 53. We'll see. I think as long as he has a good summer, he's virtually guaranteed to make the practice squad. We'll see how that all kind of shakes out. JJ Galbraith, the other tight end, is another guy I want to talk about. Completely opposite of DJ Thomas Jones. We're talking about a guy that's 6'2", 231. Much, much skinnier than that. He looks like he's 230, and so he looks like a big receiver, honestly. It's kind of interesting. He's a move tight end, plays the Y or the F position. Probably not going to play a ton of inline, but could kick in there. But he's going to play out at the Y probably more. And they're going to move him out there. I think that's where he said they're really kind of focusing in on that YF position, the move part of the YF position. And I think he's going to play outside more than he's going to play inside. When he has to come inside, he'll probably play in the off H-back role, something to that desire. He's going to need to have a charging ball of momentum, in my opinion, to go out and block guys. So he's going to be undersized in that regard. So maybe a Pat Fryermuth type receiver backup. We'll see. Intriguing player though, tough as nails. And then you look at Rock Taylor. I know a lot of people ask me about Rock Taylor. Really high character player. I saw him working off to the side with undrafted guys, and on top of that, invitations, guys that came in as rookie minicamp invites off to the side both days. That was really impressive to me, just showing the initiative to do that. He's a big guy. I mean, he's 6'2", maybe 6'1", somewhere around there, but he's 20. He's built kind of like a running back in some ways. He's got a similar frame. He's a little bigger, but he's got a similar frame in person to Debo Samuel. He's got that kind of yak frame to him, but he's a really high level contested catch guy. I was just seeing them when they were doing little mock contested catch drills. He would go up and sky that and grab it at its highest point. Like you see why he makes the contested catches. So without George Pickens around, certainly someone to watch and just keep an eye on. So, folks, that's my rookie minicamp kind of thoughts, takeaways. We don't have any live football coverage until OTA's 2 weeks. We'll still talk, obviously, a ton about things upcoming. Longer form episode coming tomorrow with John. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notification bell for more, everybody.